still of night, where shadows creep, Dan and Norm guide us, no secrets to keep. Through the ancient woods, where lost souls sigh, Bigfoot watches from the depths, lurking nearby. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. Echoes of laughter from realms out of sight, ghostly apparitions dance in the pale moonlight, in haunted halls where shadows entwine. Dan and Norm lead us through the veil of time. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. Through fog and fear we venture deep into ancient mysteries where secrets sleep. With every heartbeat we draw near to enigmas hidden in the atmosphere. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. So hold on tight as we drift away. Dan and Norm will return another day. In dreams we'll wander where shadows roam free. At the gateway to the unknown, come explore with me. As echoes linger in the night's embrace, ancient mysteries whisper, they leave a trace. With every thought that fades into dark, the gateway awaits, it ignites a spark.
Clairvoyance, or clear seeing, is the mysterious ability to perceive things beyond the range of normal human senses. Across cultures and centuries, seers, mystics, and everyday people have claimed visions of the future, glimpses of distant places, and uncanny knowledge of hidden truths. From battlefield predictions to private premonitions, clairvoyance has left its mark on both folklore and history. Scientists have tried to measure it under controlled conditions, often with frustratingly mixed results. Believers argue that clairvoyance proves consciousness extends beyond the body, while skeptics call it coincidence, fraud, or trick of memory. Yet, despite controversy, reports of clairvoyant moments persist in every generation. Could it be evidence of a sixth sense waiting to be unlocked, or just another illusion of the human mind? In this episode, we open the window into one of the most fascinating mysteries of the paranormal.
Welcome to the Gateway to the Unknown podcast. I'm Dan Hegman.
And I'm Norm Domek. In this episode, we're exploring clairvoyance, the phenomenon of seeing things hidden, distant, or even not yet happened. We'll take a look at famous historical cases, tell a listener's gripping personal story, dig into conspiracy theories, alleged scientific support, psychological explanations, cultural impact, and how clairvoyance has been portrayed in pop culture. By the end, you'll have plenty to ponder about the possibility of clear seeing. So Dan, if clairvoyance were proven real, how do you think it would change our daily lives?
That's a good question. There'd probably be a lot more millionaires in this country because, if clairvoyance were real and everybody possessed that capability, I'm sure there'd be a lot more people playing for the Mega Millions and Billion lottery.
Okay. So, what would you try to see first if you had clairvoyant?
I have to be honest. If I was a clairvoyant or possessed that capability, I have to be honest. I would probably one of a couple things. Definitely try to foresee what the numbers are for the lottery, but what first contact would be like. I would
Okay.
definitely want to experience that.
Okay. All right. And so, I mean, would you actually want to know the future if you could?
That's a again a good question. I don't know really how I feel about that because if you look ahead into the future, you might not like what you see. I think curiosity and wonderment, uh, wondering what is ahead for us and in store for us, would be better than delving into it and knowing firsthand. So I think I would just rather wonder and not go there.
Right. Well, I wonder how many people would say, "Oh, I wonder if I'm going to end up with this person. Am I going to marry them? Am I going to have kids with them?" All of that. That, you know, that ESP. In that case, ESP, would that stand for extra sexy perception? I don't know. What? How?
Extra sexy perception. Yeah, that
So,
again, being able to look into the future. Who am I going to be with? Who am I going to marry? How many times am I going to be married? Uh,
oh my.
you know, I think you're opening up possibly a doorway that you might regret opening, but you never know. I mean, it's just one of those things that if you possess that capability, would that be enough to drive you to the edge to where you would want to do that and look into the future?
Right. Well, there's a lot of people that have, and it's been documented that they have. And there's some examples there. Would you like to read some of those?
Sure. Excuse me. Several examples of clairvoyance. Uh, Baba Vanga, Bulgaria in the 20th century, was a blind from age, from birth. She became famous for predictions ranging from natural disasters and political shifts. Her followers believed her accuracy was uncanny through though critics argued her visions were vague. Another one is Stefan Osowicki, Poland in the 1930s, claimed to describe the contents of sealed letters and hidden objects under controlled tests, impressing many while skeptics expected subtle clues or it was all by chance. Another one is Eric Jan Hussein, or Hassan, sorry. Germany 1930, clairvoyant and performer who allegedly foresaw the Reichstag fire. His connection to high-ranking officers ended with his murder in 1933. Another one is projected Stargate, and this one is really interesting. The U.S. in 1970 and 1990s, the CIA funded programs investigating remote viewing. Participants attempted to describe hidden or distinct targets. Some results were statistically interesting, though not reliably replicated. Another interesting one, and I've always said if I could go back in history, one person that I would like to meet would be Abraham Lincoln. I don't know why that is, but that would be one person I would like to meet. But in any event, Abraham Lincoln's dream in 1865, Lincoln reportedly dreamed of his own death days before his assassination, fueling belief in prophetic visions. J.B. Rhine's Zener's card experiments in 1930 at Duke University. Early lab tests where subjects guessed hidden symbols. The initial results appeared positive, but faltered under tighter control. Modern anecdotes: everyday people continue to report dreams or versions that later matched real-world events, such as accidents or unexpected encounters. Let me ask you a question, Norm. Based on
Okay.
that, which of those examples do you feel are most convincing?
I think that the Project Stargate, is convincing to me because the government's interested in it. I think that one in combination with Abraham Lincoln's dream. So you've got governments and government leaders who are very interested in this type of thing. So I think that there's a lot of implications for, to weaponize that. There's also, it could also be, done for good.
I have to agree with you there. Do anecdotal stories matter if they can be tested scientifically?
I think anything would matter if you can test it scientifically and you get the results one way or the other. If you don't know you can test it, you can. But how do you test it? What would be the parameters for that? Because I think we've talked on some of the other episodes of, once an observer is introduced into the scenario, everything changes, and maybe that's part of why some people can get into the zone, or they're just sleeping, or they're in a different mindset. The theta waves and in the brain, maybe that's what's happening, and that's what we're able to to tune into the future or see the past or remote view, anything like that. So I think it has to do with brain state. So I think that would be one of the first things to test, is getting somebody into the zone and then seeing what happens.
How about would government's interest in clairvoyance make you more of a believer?
I think so. I think any organization that's willing to get some information and say we should investigate this further, somebody must have made a compelling argument somewhere, if somebody's going to throw time and money at it.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree 100% with you on that one. Remote viewing, it's just used to see who's checking me out. I think that we're being watched.
Yeah, we're all being watched, I guess, to some degree, somewhere, with cameras and everywhere. We have a short story from the mailbag. I'd like to read that, if that's okay with you.
Sure, go for it.
All right. This one is from Savannah, Georgia, Chatham County. So it says, "My name is Michael Harper. I live in Savannah, Georgia, Chatham County. It was a humid summer evening, the kind where the air feels heavy and the cicadas scream from the trees. Inside my old rented townhouse, ceiling fans spun lazily, stirring the scent of old wood and faint tobacco smoke from a century past. Around midnight, I sat at my desk writing, when suddenly, without warning, an image flashed in my mind. A woman in a pale blue dress standing at the foot of the staircase. Her hand was raised, pointing towards the door. The vision was so clear I gasped out loud. I walked downstairs, half laughing at myself, but when I opened the front door, I froze. A delivery truck had rolled silently down the street, its headlights catching a man crouching by my car, and he had a knife. Startled, he ran off into the night. If I hadn't gone to the door, I wouldn't have woken to... If I hadn't gone to the door, I would have woken to slashed tires, or worse. I'll never forget that night. Whether it was clairvoyance, intuition, or something stranger, it saved me from becoming a victim." So, do you think that clairvoyance can protect people from real-world dangers?
That's another very good question. If people truly possess that capability, and they can see dangers in the form of a warning before they happen, and they reach out to you and let you know. Are you going to take what they tell you seriously, or are you going to say, you're just you're paranoid, and go about your day to find out that what they had told you previously actually came to light and actually happened. Uh, that's a frightening thought, and I hope no one ever comes to me and says, hey, don't go on 422 today. You're going to be involved in a horrific accident and possibly killed. Uh, I just hope that no one ever approaches me and gives me any kind of a warning like that, But it's very provocative, and it's a frightening thought. It really is.
In that context, but what if there's a gorgeous woman who walks up to you and says, you're the guy from my dreams, and we were on the beach and we were rolling around and all of that.
I just had that happen. I had a doctor of all things contact me and just tell me that she had a dream of me last night and fell madly in love with me, and in her dream we traveled the world together. And I thought, yeah, what kind of drugs are you on? Downside to that, my wife would cut my head off, so it ain't gonna happen.
Well, maybe she'll take pictures.
It's a nice thought, though.
She could tag along and take pictures, right?
Yeah, that might not work, but yeah, I'm flattered.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a scam text. I just deleted it. Didn't give it a second thought. A lot of those things that you don't want to click on them because you don't know if you're giving them access to your, personal information or contacts on your cell phone, and I attributed that to just another scam and people trying to reach out and get personal information for nefarious activity.
Yeah. Speaking of that, there's a Nigerian prince that I need to call later. He says he's got $1 million for me, so I'm gonna click on that email and get some money.
Well, you know who Elon Musk is.
Of course.
I still have it on my cell phone here. Congratulations, you won a new Tesla. Sent me a picture with a big bow on it. Beautiful red Tesla.
Yeah.
And I think it was $10 million, and that they needed the correct spelling of my name, my address, city, and zip code that I lived in, and that a courier would be delivering my winnings within the next few days, and had given me a code not to give out to anybody. And then he progressed to go on and say, are you ready to receive your winnings? So I played along with it, and I'm excited, and I've never won anything in my life. And yeah, hey, what do I have to do to take possession of this beautiful, gorgeous car? And I could really use that money. Then he comes back and he says, well, go get an Apple gift card in the amount of $500. Then when you get home, you scratch off the thing, and he said, I need a screenshot of the card, screenshot of the receipt, and once I have that, we can process your winnings. And yeah, right.
Yeah. They're always trying to get you. They're always these scammers and these, listen, and that's not a conspiracy. That's not. It's just it's out there. So, but there are some conspiracies that are still theories, and when it comes to clairvoyance, you want to go through those?
Sure. And again, I hope our listeners understand that we are not bashing the government. Sons of bitches, anyway.
Easy,
Sorry
buddy.
about that. But anyway, conspiracies, conspiracy theories. Governments secretly maintain psychic spy units, continuing programs like Stargate. Now, that's not a conspiracy. You know, as sure as we're sitting here, we're breathing good old oxygen. You know the government is involved up to their eyebrows in this program. 100%. Another one, elite families alleged preserve psychic bloodlines for power. I believe that. I do believe
Okay.
that. Corporations experiment with clairvoyance to predict consumer behavior. That's another one I believe. I don't believe that's conspiracy at all. Scientific institutions suppress evidence to preserve mainstream authority. You gotta wonder, but if governments still fund clairvoyance, Norm, why do they keep it secret?
The competitive edge. If they can do one thing that's going to be that the competition cannot do, that's the competitive edge.
Amen. Well,
Yeah.
if clairvoyance could give you more power, uh, and if it were real, what do you think about that?
So, your question is: would clairvoyance give too much power if it if it were real? Is that your
Yes.
question? I would say that it would depend on how clairvoyant the receiver was. I mean, you can have somebody that's good at it, and you can have somebody that's great at it. And I think that if you could, surround yourself with people who are great at it, then yeah, you would have more power. And that sounds like what the families in charge are doing. And it talks about how the bloodlines, and I know people who are psychic and clairvoyant, and it was their mom and their grandmother and whoever knows how far back, they were all psychic. So these bloodlines, people who are sensitive do seem to have a lineage of that. So I think there may be some truth to the people in charge knowing that there are bloodlines that possess this power.
Well,
Absolutely.
do you think that corporations would exploit clairvoyancy if they could?
Absolutely. Anything to keep the shareholders happy and keep that stock price rising. Absolutely. Anything they can do, they're going to do it. It's all about that bottom line. It's all about that stock price if they're public, if they're publicly traded. And how many companies are not publicly traded and employ these types of techniques and strategies? Probably more than we think. How many board meetings start off with, look, let's talk about the facts, but let's also talk about our gut feelings here. Those gut feelings, that's where this comes from. You can call it whatever you want, but those feelings and those perceptions are coming from somewhere. Is it clairvoyance? Maybe, to some degree.
That's a very good and very strong possibility. I don't know, for me, elite bloodlines with psychic powers sounds like 50 Shades of Paranormal to me.
50 Shades of Paranormal.
50 Shades of Paranormal.
That sounds like your next book title,
yes,
man.
if clairvoyance predicted my bank balance, man, I'd run screaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
But
Right.
what can you tell us about some alleged facts when it comes to clairvoyancy, Norm?
Some alleged facts. I think that we can put clairvoyance, we can classify that as a form of extrasensory perception. I think that's one of the alleged facts. A lot of this stuff, we try to put labels on it, and it may be really similar to something else.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you said ESP stood for extrasexual perception.
Oh, well, it can. Again, it's all about perception.
Well, there you go. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, look, we've been really tame on this podcast, on this episode so far. So far, but we're not done yet. We still got, we're only like 22 minutes in, man. There's still time. There's still time.
Well, how about some more
Uh,
alleged facts about clairvoyancy?
Okay, remote viewing experiments occasionally produced statistically above average results. So that's a fact. And certain famous clairvoyants like Baba Vanga have reputations for startling accuracy. And I think you know of some psychics or clairvoyants or whatever we want to call them. Most people just call themselves psychics or mediums. They're spot on. They are spot on. There's quite a few that I know of that are really, really good. And some of them have been on some podcasts for friends that we know. Ghost Chick is really good. She's really good, and there's some others. So it just depends. It just depends. But some studies have suggested that psychic traits may run in families. So I think that's important to note too. And I think that would help with also kind of diagnosing, if you will, some type of mental disorders. What we think are mental disorders are people seeing things that other people can't see, so they're deemed crazy or mentally unstable, or all of those kinds of things. But I think there are people out there who are, especially from a young age, they're seeing things and they don't really know how to express it, or they don't understand why they're seeing those things. And if other people don't understand that, these kids are taken to the doctor, and they're prescribed medication to stop the thoughts, stop the visions or whatever. But maybe it's a natural thing. Now, I'm not saying that mental illnesses and disorders aren't real. I'm not saying that at all, because I think that there's a lot of it. I just think that there are some things that may be misdiagnosed. Not everybody needs medication that's on medication. And I think part of that is because we live in this industrial, the military industrial
Complex.
pharmaceutical complex. All of that is all put together. So, everybody wants to, the people in charge want everybody drugged up as much as they can be.
A lot of money.
So,
A lot of money in it.
a lot of money in it, sure. There's a lot of money in it. But I don't think everybody needs medication, especially people who just need to understand that what they're seeing may be real. Other people may not be able to see it, or but I think there are people out there who, if they were to be instead of being given handfuls of pills to take every day, if they were taken out to the woods, take their shoes off, and sit down and talk to people who have been in with a little bit more life experience, who have been in that situation, I think the world would be a little bit better place.
Amen. Amen. I have to agree.
So, there's a couple more here. Military records confirm decades of research into clairvoyance. So there's something there. Predictive dreams are reported cross-culturally and historically, like Abraham Lincoln's dream. Quantum theories are sometimes invoked to explain non-local perception. And anecdotal cases of visions saving lives continue into the modern era. So, and that would be, with the example you gave, somebody coming up to you and say, don't go on 422 or any other highway. People do that all the time. People get phone calls saying, look, I had a dream last night. I don't think you should go to work today. And now a lot of people have the ability to work from home, and if they believe that person that's calling them and they don't go to work, and they hear on the news that there was a pileup or some type of tragedy that they could have very well been right in the middle of. So, that's a possibility. How many people, there are stories out there with people saying, I got a call from so-and-so saying don't go into the towers today on 9/11. There's a lot of people that have those stories that didn't go into work because somebody had a dream, because it was such a traumatic experience. It was so much emotion involved into that, in that, and the the ripples, did they come back in time after it happened? That whole thing, where does future where do future visions come from? Well, they come to the future, to the past. How does that happen? How does that happen? Time and space are so connected, and we think that they're separate. We use them in different ways. They're separate elements and separate variables in computations, most of them, but they're very much combined.
Oh, they are.
They're very,
They're combined in ways we've yet to understand, and we
sure.
may never understand. But there's a lot of truth to the statement you just made.
Yeah. What would make clairvoyance more credible in your opinion?
Well, the fact that I don't know the military records that confirm decades of research into clairvoyance, that's undeniable. And they're still actively, very much actively engaged with it today in all aspects of government, the financial institutes, war. Uh, you know, it just there's a lot to it, and I think it goes far deeper than what any of us can possibly understand. But for me, I think that the fact that the military and our governments are so actively involved in it, that kind of seals it for me.
Yep. All right. So here's another question. Would you prefer to know more about quantum entanglement or romantic entanglement?
Oh, absolutely romantic. Yes, I'm a
Okay.
romantic kind of guy.
You
Oh
are?
yeah,
All right. So your predictive dreams will predict like good dates.
I cuddle up with my pillow every night.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I hug it tight.
Yeah. You wake up with feathers in your mouth.
Uh, no, I haven't chewed on the pillow yet, but
Oh, you're not a pillow
no,
biter?
no, not yet. Anyway,
Not yet. The night's still
yeah.
early. Oh, Jesus. All right. What are some of the psychological aspects about clairvoyance?
Psychological aspects. Oh, that one I honestly I can't think of anything that comes to mind.
Well, you don't have to. There's a whole section that's already printed. All you have to do is
Yeah.
read it.
Uh,
Do you know where we're
yeah,
at? Did you lose your...
psychological aspects. I'm just
There you go. It's
I'm
got your
just
name in parentheses right next
I'm
to it.
funning with you, Norm.
Okay.
Yeah, just oh, anyway.
Anyway.
Psychologists explain clairvoyancy is a mix of biases, memory, and quirks of subconscious processing. Confirmation bias makes us remember the hits and forget the misses. How true. Stress, fatigue, or grief can heighten sensitivity to vivid impressions. Subconscious details can surface suddenly as visions misinterpreted as psychic insight. Expectations and cultural conditioning also prime people to interpret odd experiences as clairvoyance. Dreams and dreams are another fertile ground. We randomly were randomly imaginary and sometimes linked to later events. Social reinforcement, strengths, beliefs, especially and other share similar experiences. Even skeptics admit that coincidences can feel so uncanny that people naturally seek extraordinary explanations.
Okay.
Which leads me to I have to ask, is clairvoyancy just a brain filling in the blanks?
Hmm. Well, let's look at Nostradamus. He had all of those writings that he kind of, threw up in the air didn't date any of them. There was a lot of just kind of what people would call fortune cookie kind of fortunes in there, and they some of them were very vague, and some of them, some of them were right on. And if you write something hundreds of years in the past, and you've got all these sayings, when something happens, I feel like it would be easy to pick through and say, okay, this one matches this situation. So, with the question, is it just filling in the blanks? I don't know. I think that people we want to fill in the blanks. We want to say, oh, look, that premonition or that prediction is correct. See, look, that's right. But what about the ones that aren't? And maybe they just don't fit yet. Maybe at some point you can apply that to a situation. Maybe not in a year, maybe not in 10 years, maybe not in 100 years. I mean, 1,000 years may go by, and none of the predictions that Nostradamus had will fit anything that we know here in the United States, but maybe it fits somewhere else. So that's also, being vague in that context can make it be applied to other situations. What are the coincidences with all of that? Eventually you're going to be right.
Yeah, Nostradamus.
And enough time goes by, eventually you're going to be right.
Absolutely.
The coincidences are fun, especially the ones that end with dessert and a sleepover. Those are the fun coincidences.
There you go. Yeah,
there you go.
Bringing up Nostradamus, excellent example. It's hard to believe how he's predicted, or predictions that have been spot on. And I've always been fascinated with Nostradamus's predictions. Do you think that stressful situations make people more likely to believe in it or believe in clairvoyancy?
Absolutely. I think the emotion is fuel, and it can be used for a lot of different things. We use emotion to fuel our day, good, bad, or whatever. But what else does that emotion fuel? From our subconscious when we're going to bed, when we hit that theta wave state. What does that stress, what does that energy connect with? So yes, I think that's a big possibility.
But do you think coincidences are enough to explain everything when it comes to clairvoyancy?
Eventually, over time, somebody's going to be right, but I don't think it's enough. I think that there are people out there that do have the ability to get that feeling, whether it's a twin and they can sense what the other person is going through. Is that clairvoyance? Is that a form of it? Is it all connected and we just don't know? I mean, I think that the coincidences, there are, it's more to it. There are, some people say there are no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. So there's that perspective and spin on it as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Stress can make can make people see things like me seeing romance where there isn't any. No. But I don't know. Coincidences, they are and can be fun, especially the ones that end with dessert and a sleepover, just like you said. And yeah, you can't deny that one. And if it's all in my head, at least my head has good taste. I'm a decent kind of guy.
You are. I'm going to agree with you just because we have a very big audience. We have thousands of listeners in at least 16
Isn't
countries.
That great?
At the time that is great. At the time of this airing, it may be more than 16, but just as a little bit ago, we had 16 different countries. So that's crazy.
It's absolutely fantastic. And, our listeners out there, we couldn't do it without you. And I want to ask you, I want to plead with all of our listeners out there. If any of you are clairvoyants and you possess that capability, can you please contact Norm and I and give us the numbers for the Mega Millions and Norm and I will share it with you. I promise. You have my word.
Yeah.
But contact us. Let us know, and give us some winning numbers, and we'll forever be grateful. What do you think, Norm?
I thought you were going to say, I'm pleading with you, please send us some pictures. That's what I thought
Yeah.
you were going to say.
Well, we'll take some pictures too. That way
Right.
we can see who's out there, and meet our listeners through,
Yeah.
yes, through pictures. But
Yes, through pictures.
what can you tell us about psychological impact when it comes to clairvoyancy, Norm?
Well, I think that it has influenced spirituality, business, and culture. There are psychic fairs, hotlines, and online services that remain billion-dollar industries. Communities with famous clairvoyants often thrive on tourism. For some, clairvoyants provide guidance to love, loss, and financial uncertainty. Folklore turns clairvoyants into legends, cementing their role in cultural memory. At the same time, fraud and exploitation fuel skepticism. Still, clairvoyance challenges the scientific worldview and symbolizes humanity's longing for mystery. By blending hope, entertainment, and wonder, it continues to shape society. So, do you think that clairvoyance offers more comfort or more risk?
I think it's a mix. I think for some people out there, clairvoyancy would definitely offer them the comfort that they are looking for. But then on the other note, I think that there are some people out there that shy away from it or run from it because they may feel that it's more of a risk than a comfort.
All right. And there's a lot of people that pay for readings. I, you know, I they charge for love advice. I normally just buy dinner and wing it and hope for the best. That's kind of how I do it.
Yeah, I don't know as if honestly, I honestly don't know if I would pay to have a reading or not. Uh, I'm kind of on the fence post. Half of me would probably do it, but the other half, would say no, don't do it, don't do it. But run across that bridge when the time comes, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to out myself here a little bit, but I'm very clairvoyant, and I actually charge for readings, and I haven't done it in a while. I mean, I have done it, but I used to do it a lot more often when I lived down at the beach, and I don't know if it was the beach itself with the ions and the waves and all of that and the sunrises. There's something about a sunrise coming up from the horizon, and also the sunset. There's just something about that energy, and I was able to tune in quite a bit for that. So, and I still do readings. I still have I've got one next week, as a matter of fact. So so I do it, and I feel that it's very helpful. Or if it didn't provide benefit, I wouldn't do it. And so the way it works for me is the more relaxed I am, the more the energy, the more the messages come through. And some people are easier to read than others, and I've always been able to read to some extent, but I've also told people, it's a little bit difficult right now. Let's do this again at sunset. Let's just hang out for a little bit. Let's go to dinner, whatever. We'll come back, and then we'll try it again when the energy's a little bit different, and that normally works. But I'm pretty good now at doing it any time of day. But it just seems like the golden hour, when the sun's just going down or when the sunrise is just coming up. There's something about that helps the information come through a little bit better for me.
I think people that possess the capability of being able to do this truly, truly, truly have a special and wonderful gift. Something that just popped in my head. You know what the magnetic ley lines are? They're all over the planet. They surround the Earth. Do you think possibly that the magnetic ley lines could enter into this and have any influence on, the people that have the capability in possessing clairvoyancy, uh, do you think the magnetic ley lines enter into that at all?
I would say yes, because magnetism has to do with north and south and electron movement, which is energy. So I would say sure. And our brains are picked. We pick up all kinds of different signals from our environment, and some are electrical, some are there's others as well. But we're just a bunch of radio
Frequencies, yes.
transmitters and receivers. We have our own frequency. Everybody has their own frequency, like their own cell phone number. So I would say yeah, why not? Sure.
Yeah, it was just a
Sure.
thought I had, which I thought
Yeah.
would be an excellent question to ask, and just thought I'd
You're right.
throw that out there.
Isn't it? Yep, I think it's an excellent question. So let's talk a little bit about some pop culture. Let's talk a little bit about some movies, some books, and those kinds of things.
Pop culture, that enters into every aspect of every topic that we have discussed and plan on discussing in future podcasts. Uh, One would be the Stephen King novel and film, The Dead Zone. Another one would be The Minority Report, Precogs Predicting Crime. Uh, and that is kind of interesting. There are a couple ladies that uh, I don't think they'd be upset if I mentioned their names. The psychic Vincent sisters. Uh, they have actually worked with local law enforcement and state police on helping solve crimes. So I think that there's a lot that enters into that portion. Uh, Medium, it's a TV series. That's one that I've viewed several times, and it's interesting. Twin Peaks is a serial vision of dreams. The Gift, it's a film that was back in 2000. The Raven Boys, YA novel series. Babylon 5. Have you ever seen that, Norm?
I have. That's a good show.
Excellent show. Babylon 5. Characters with clairvoyant and telepathic powers. Uh, Countless true crime, paranormal podcasts featured clairvoyant stories, and reality TV shows often spotlight psychics and their clear seeing. Uh, which pop culture clairvoyant feels most believable out of those?
You know, I think the TV series Medium was really believable because it was a normal, everyday housewife mom who was experiencing extra sensory things with her husband, who was an engineer, and her kids, who were just trying to make it like most kids are in school. And she was kind of this, everyday normal person that had these extra special things happen to her. So I think that would be the one that resonates with me the most. Yeah. What about you? Was any of the
I don't know. I would say Babylon 5. That one, probably grabs me more than any of them. I've watched it several times. It's just a good show. Definitely enjoy it. Uh, do these portrayals make people more often and open to the ideas?
I would think so. I think anytime you talk about something, it's not new. And when something becomes not new, it's more familiar, and people are more willing to discuss it without, maybe without the stigma that's associated with it. So just being able to table an idea or a concept and say, what do you think? Like we're doing now. What do you think about this? And I think if more dialogue happened like this, I think the world again would be a little bit better place, because people would be more open to things that we're told that we shouldn't be.
Well, if you had the opportunity, which show would you camo in as a clairvoyant?
Oh wow, what show would I cameo in as a clairvoyant? Minority Report was always interesting to me because they were going to arrest people for crimes that haven't even happened yet. So I might be one of the guys running from the cops in that movie in Minority Report.
You bad boy.
And I wouldn't even know why because it didn't happen yet.
I know Hollywood loves clairvoyance. I just wish they'd predict fewer sequels.
Oh, that's hilarious. Funny.
Visions in slow motion just make me trying to flirt.
Visions in slow motion.
Just like trying to make me flirt. Yeah.
Just like you trying to flirt?
Yeah.
So you're telling me you flirt in slow motion?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the only way I can get my message across,
Yeah. So you eventually get there?
Yeah.
Eventually?
Yeah. If I had to, race against the turtle, I'd probably lose, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well.
And of course, the dead zone sounds like my dating life lately.
Oh, okay. Well, so you were talking about the race. When guys, there's a couple of different races that you can run, right? You can, when you're on a date and after dessert and things are getting hot and heavy. After that, it's like you're either running a marathon or you're running a sprint. So, you start off with the sprint, take a break, and then you run a marathon. Is that kind of how it works?
Well,
I don't know.
I think I'm permanently in slow mode,
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can fix that? Question mark?
Well, in conclusion.
In conclusion, yes. Are we moving on? We're moving on, aren't we?
Clairvoyancy remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the paranormal. Skeptics point out psychological and coincidences, while believers highlight personal stories and historical cases. Governments, scientists, and mystics alike have tried to measure it, yet continue to evade definitive proof. Still, its presence in culture, folklore, and daily anecdotes shows it touches something deep in the human psyche. Whether real ability or powerful illusion, clairvoyancy keeps the unknown alive in our imaginations. And perhaps that's the greatest gift. It pushes us to wonder what we might lie or what might just lie just beyond ordinary sight. If you've ever experienced a strange vision, if you've ever experienced a strange dream, or a flash, or foresight, we'd love to hear your story. We would definitely love and have you reach out to us and tell us your experience, tell us your story. After all, the unknown, it's always closer than we think. And there's a lot to this. It's very provocative. In some cases, downright scary. But again, we would love to hear from our audience. Let us know what you think. What are your thoughts? What are your beliefs? And again, reach out to us. And for those of you that are spot on and you possess this capability, again, please contact Norm and I. Send us that list of winning numbers, and
picture.
We promise, yes, we promise we will split the winnings with you. So we will all benefit. But with that, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. And there's going to be a lot more coming up. A lot of very interesting podcasts. And we hope you'll tune in. God bless.
All right. This is starting to kick in, man. We want to do a couple more of these. Oh, let me hit the stop recording button. Hope everybody has a great time. Look, I got the wrong mouse. All right.
You're lit, man. You're lit.
No, I'm not. But I'm not feeling any pain. So, with that said, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for being one of the thousands of listeners. Thank you for being in one of the at least 16 countries that we are heard in, and we can be heard anywhere high quality podcasts are any of those platforms, wherever they're heard. We are on Spotify and iTunes and at least 52 other platforms at last count. So thank you very much for everything. Dan, I love you. This is such a good time. Thank you very much for involving me and including me in your vision. So thank you very much. And everybody else, love you too. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you too, Norm. God bless.
All right. Bye.
In the still of night, where shadows creep.